Hello, my name is Keith Haswell and I'm a professional astrologer with 40 years experience in the business now, over 40,000 clients worldwide. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this particular video on Is This Your Last Lifetime? You know, I've stopped doing the free horoscope number ones except for those who order horoscopes number 2 and 3 to allow me to be able to concentrate and focus over the last couple of weeks on producing videos, and I've produced 3 in the last 2 weeks, and they are really creating a lot of excitement there among the followers and the subscribers and those who are interested in becoming more of who they really are. So, is this your last lifetime, and can you make this your last lifetime? Just sit back and relax now and enjoy the journey here with me. This video is about making a choice to make this your last lifetime. You've lived hundreds of lifetimes in the last 90,000 years alone. You do have a choice to make this your last physical incarnation. It's important to understand that you would not be alone in making that decision, because many before you have made that choice and have made that decision and have moved on into higher dimensions of consciousness beyond the human level altogether. The human level is only the first level of self-consciousness, you see. The plant kingdom have consciousness but not self-consciousness. The animal kingdom has consciousness but not self-consciousness. An animal man has consciousness but not self-consciousness. It's only when we become a human being that we become self-conscious. And you are very advanced spiritually. So you are on the crest of the wave of evolution. Just by the very fact that you are watching this video means that you are on the crest of the wave of evolution. You are a pioneer. You are a map maker. So you've been self-conscious for over 90,000 years. How many levels, you might ask, are there beyond the human level? Well, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, and I don't want you to get too excited. So let's just let that question be a question mark there for you at the moment, okay? Let's just say that there are many levels of self-consciousness beyond the human level altogether, and that those levels of consciousness grow and become more of who they really are by helping those below them at the human level to expand their consciousness. That's the way that God and Goddess has set it all up, so that everybody helps everybody below them to become more of who they really are. It's a very exciting universe that you're poking your head into and learning more about through my CDs and through my videos. So not only are you not alone when you make a choice to move to higher levels, you are welcomed by many familiar aspects of yourself who have prepared you for that transition in the dream state. You also, once you make that transition, have the opportunity to be able to help loved ones still there in the human level and to assist them from the other side to become more of who they really are and to make that transition themselves, so you don't leave your loved ones behind. So you have new friends at the higher levels, and you are still able to dialogue and assist those that you leave behind at the human level. Why then, you might ask, would you not make the decision to make this your last lifetime? Because aspects of yourself resist that movement and that inclination out of fear of somehow being cut off from their loved ones. Nothing could be further from the truth. Let us not get ahead of ourselves, however. Let us begin this journey of making this your last lifetime from the beginning. So you just sit back now and relax, enjoy the journey with me and open that imagination up so that you can accept the things that I am talking about here. We live in a world where the dominant theme of our society has elevated logic and reason to a level of absolute authority. This dominant masculine principle has lauded appearance and performance, regardless of how shallow, have lauded the hierarchy of competition and comparison, no matter how brutal. It has lauded the nobility of struggle and hardship, no matter how brutal. Not only have they lauded appearance and performance, they have condemned and dismissed soul and spirit, have condemned and ridiculed the hierarchy of love and support, making it almost laughable, having condemned the beauty of earning and the majesty of receiving. Everyone, regardless of your station in life, understands struggle, hardship, and suffering. But when it comes to those other qualities that have been denigrated and ridiculed, that have been dismissed, devalued, that have been condemned, most people don't know. What is this dominant male masculine principle? Regardless of gender, most people don't know what it is, or what the feminine principle is to begin with. What do you mean, creativity and imagination? I know these words, it's just pretending. It's just imagining. It's just fantasy. It's doing something that earns you money in a fine, artistic way. That's what creativity is. What do you mean, spirituality? I don't understand that. I don't understand desire and passion other than something that you do in the bedroom behind closed doors. What are you talking about, soul and spirit and a hierarchy of support and love? You have to explain that to me. And what is receiving other than that which you do when you're down and out and need some help from charity? So this set of values beyond the dominant masculine principle needs elucidating and clarification to be understood by the consensus. The dominant masculine principle and the idea of struggle and hardship is so ingrained within your society that it controls what you even perceive with your five senses. It controls what you register as the nature of reality in your consciousness. These standards, these constraints, render you incapable of remembering who you really are. And even if you could remember what you really are, it renders you incapable of being who you really are. These standards that are placed upon you by parents, by teachers, and by a society that determines what's valid, render the true spiritual work an impossible task. You might say, Keith, I think you are overstating the case here in order to make a point, but I assure you that I am not overstating the case. I am in fact understating the case. In time, if you pursue my intensives, you will also understand just how much I have toned them down. there is something that you don't know about the nature of reality, the knowing of which will change your perceptions and your conceptions and your very DNA. You will learn bits and pieces of these truths from my videos, but your enlightenment will only come through my intensives. I release information and knowledge there in my intensives that is not available elsewhere. This is not a claim of hubris, this is testimonials from those who have been through my intensives and had their lives transformed. If what I state here about the constraints that are put upon your ability to be who you really are, then that is pretty depressing news. And, my friends, it is pretty depressing. But you see, there are certain rays of hope, and one of these rays of hope is that these standards, these constrictions must be taught. You as an infant must be taught. You as a child must be taught. Must be cajoled, must be controlled. You must be conditioned, often manipulated into accepting these standards. Often from the time of your very birth, you are given these standards and taught these standards. Parents don't do it to their children out of some sort of connivance or some sort of conspiracy to let's screw this kid up. No, that's what's been passed on to them from their parents, and to their parents from their parents, and society and teachers. You have pushed these dominating masculine principles upon your own children. Logic and reason, logic and reason, logic and reason above all else. You don't do this out of a sense of malevolence, but out of a sense of obligation to prepare your child to succeed in a world where these are the standards. As a child, you go to school where these principles, the dominating masculine principles and standards, are contained within the educational system. It's important to understand, though, dear friends, that you must be taught, conditioned and cajoled into accepting these standards, even though these standards are normal, meaning that which is normally done. But even so, they are not natural. The good news is, dear friends, that you can unteach yourself. Not to abandon them completely, but if it had to be taught to you because it is not natural, then you can unteach yourself without having to abandon the concepts entirely. Not as an ordinary grown-up, but as an extraordinary adult and as a spiritual adult. When you can and when you will immerse yourself in your spiritual being, then you can unteach yourself and become that extraordinary adult, that extraordinary spiritual being that you truly are, at the very core of your being. Becoming a spiritual being is not a new concept. Whether you are fresh with naivete or well experienced in the metaphysical path, you may claim and assert that your spiritual priority is the number one priority, and that you are a spiritual being. But I know, and more importantly, you know, that you are not there yet. Act as if is a powerful technique, but after all, it's only a technique. Not that your spiritual work has been in vain. It has been a necessary build-up to what you are now ready to learn. It's time now to move from the realm of acting to the realm of being. That time has now come. Practice is over. Everything you do now, everything you feel now counts. It's time now, and you are ready to make this your last lifetime. It's time to stop acting and time to start being who you really are. On the surface, it appears that if you make that genuine decision to make this your last lifetime, that you are immediately going to die. That you'll be snatched up. Oh, got another one. And so your instinct to survival kicks in and wants to delay that decision. But it is important to understand that once you genuinely make that choice, make that decision to make this your last lifetime, your life will continue in a way that is truly magical, filled with all kinds of miraculous success, magic, and joy. You will still live out your normal lifespan because the true impact of that choice and that decision does not kick in until after you have left the body. If your decision is just a whim, a fancy, oh, why not? I'll make this my last lifetime, no problem, then nothing really will change. But if the choice is a real choice and a genuine decision, you can begin to break down the tyranny of the impossible task. Through my CDs and videos, you can begin to understand that you truly are a spiritual being. You can begin to open up to the relationship with your future self in a new way. Your relationship with your higher self can come alive and become a living, breathing, loving relationship and an alliance that can lead you up and to open up to a relationship with God, Goddess, all that is. You can then start to unfold that line of communication using the language of the soul, the language of imagination. You start by becoming more committed to your daily meditation routine, even if only for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. A ritual, a routine, regularity is a very important principle. Understanding that it is a long-term project to develop your skill at being open to receiving their love by developing that dialogue. A dialogue that begins by starting off and appearing to be one way, but where you gradually learn to trust your imagination as a two-way dialogue. As you go deeper into the practice of meditation over a period of months and years, and as you continue to expand your understanding and to expand your consciousness, your trust in the fact that your imagination is not just a fantasy, but a two-way dialogue that is supported by synchronicities, coincidences, magic and miracles in your life. You start to come alive. No, you will not be perfect. You will still have doubts. You will still slip back into old habit patterns. But it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to want to put on old masks of shame, guilt, fear, doubt, insecurity, self-pity, control, domination, manipulation, shame. That's okay. That decision doesn't mean that you have to be perfect from there on. You will seesaw between two worlds. But gradually, as you play my CDs and replay my videos and strengthen your dialogue with your future self, higher self, soul and spirit, and God, Goddess, all that is, you will gradually begin to awaken to the fact that the inner world of dialogue and communication is gradually becoming two-way. And you will realize that you are changing. You are becoming more of your truer self. As beautiful as your relationship with your future self and your higher self is now, and I don't diminish that, I know, and more importantly, you know, that it's much less than it could be. Dear friends, the tyranny of the impossible task has brainwashed you into forgetting that you are primarily a spiritual being. Let that in. You are a spiritual being. The tyranny of the impossible task denies you, devalues, denigrates, dismisses and even condemns what could really be with your truer self, your future self, your higher self, your soul and spirit, God, Goddess, all it is, and more importantly, the Goddess. Not the God that is described in the religious books, but a living, loving, breathing relationship with the Goddess, who loves you and knows your name. When you take the action to make this choice, to make this lifetime your last lifetime, and it is genuine, and not just a whim of why not, I'll give it a shot, but when it is really genuine, not only can that choice allow you to break through the tyranny of the impossible task, it can break through the imprisonment, it can break through the blockages and the obstacles to a truer life of being. You are not, my friend, new to metaphysics. The fact that you are watching this video means that you are on the crest of the wave of evolution. It's time now to reiterate, reintegrate, and recapitulate your gains from past lives. To reiterate the truths that you already inculcated into your consciousness in the last lifetime. To reintegrate these truths into your consciousness and to recapitulate your gains that brought you to this particular video and to this particular lifetime. Watch my video on dreams at least twice a week for the next 2 months. Each time you will hear things and integrate things that you swear that you haven't heard before. Get stuck into my CDs, they're available from the website, and my videos, they're all available from the website. And do get your horoscope number 2 and 3 done by me so that you can then line yourself up and progress through my 3 intensives. Commit yourself to daily meditation, even if only for 5 or 10 minutes. And let's work together, dear friend, to make this your last lifetime. So I thank you for your attentiveness here, and I look forward to working further with you as you progress. Thank you.